After I accepted the confession from my childhood sweetheart, his first love showed up. My stepsister put needles in my ballet shoes, and the blood stained my white shoes red. Jason ran to the stage and picked me up, his usual gentleness gone. Tell me who did it, and I'll never let her go. Later, when the summer camp caught fire, he left me to save her. But she wasn't even in the explosion center. It's so hot, I'm in so much pain. Who can save me? Wendy. Before I passed out, I heard a heart-wrenching scream. Who was that rushing to save me? But my eyes are melting, and I can't hear anymore. Only the pain lives on, tearing through me, crushing me like endless mountains. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. Wendy, what are you spacing out for? Blow out your birthday candles. The cake had candles in the shape of the number 18. The flickering candlelight made me break out in a cold sweat. I was reborn, back to being 18. My fear of open flames immobilized me. My stepsister Chloe seized the moment, with a poof, blew out my birthday candles. The birthday song ended just then, and the room went silent. Chloe wore a triumphant smile. Wendy, I helped you blow out the candles, you're not mad, right? I crossed my arms, looking at my first love, Jason. Jason wasn't his usual indifferent self. Instead, his pretty eyes were full of worry. Sadly, the worry wasn't for me, but for my stepsister Chloe. Everything was connected. I was too trusting of Jason, too slow to see the signs. I stayed silent, and no one else dared to speak. The atmosphere grew awkward. I looked back at Chloe. Big-eyed Chloe looked pitiful, just like her home-wrecking mother. No way. I picked up the cake and plastered it across her face. I moved so fast, no one had time to react. Everyone was stunned. Of course, I was mad. I heard that blowing out someone else's birthday candles is like wishing them an early death. Why are your thoughts so malicious at such a young age? My straightforward remark, with no beating around the bush, painfully pricked Chloe's pride. Her eyes brimmed with poison, staring hollowly at me, like a snake. The next second, her eyes turned red as she cried and ran into my dad's arms. All while being covered in cake, which looked ridiculous. Wendy. What are you saying? Your sister is so young, what's wrong with blowing out your candle? In a family where the kids don't get along, the parents are sure to lack virtue. I sneered, you can be sentenced at 14. She's 16 now, hardly young. My dad was speechless. I clasped my hands and made a wish, my first wish, may the curse just now rebound. Chloe cried even harder when she heard this. I think an apology from Chloe is enough, there's no need for such a serious curse. Even the always cold Jason was pleading for Chloe. Why didn't he speak up for me when she cursed me? I was just giving her a taste of her own medicine, and I get blamed for it? I swirled the wine glass in my hand, considering splashing it on his face. Jason had already weaved through the crowd to stand beside Chloe, instinctively shielding her. Looking at the face I loved for so many years, I felt annoyed for the first time. Actually, I didn't die immediately after the explosion. I was burned all over, unrecognizable, staying in the ICU for a whole month. In the end, my mom thought I was in too much pain, so she took off my oxygen mask herself. After that, she fell into depression, divorced my dad, and joined me in death at just over 40. My dad was left with just one daughter, and all the family wealth went to Chloe. Jason guarded Chloe in my name. He guarded her right onto the bed. They even got married and had a kid, living happily ever after. In fact, the explosion was Chloe's plan. She bet that Jason would choose to save her instead of me. I perished in flames, and the person who rushed in to save me was Jack, the school bad boy. He had passionately pursued me for years. But I only had eyes for Jason. Even though we hadn't confirmed our relationship, I gave up the whole forest for him. Unexpectedly, the one who loved me most was Jack. After my death, he came to my grave almost every day. He'd stand there for half a day. He built many temples, donated many schools, helped many people, all in my name. He said he'd give up everything to bring me back. And then, I really came back. Thinking of this, I looked up to find Jack. After I turned him down, he'd always hide in the corner, watching me quietly. Not seeing him in the corner made me dizzy, nearly tripping over my dress. Suddenly, a big hand caught my waist. I looked up and found myself staring into Jack's eyes. They were shining, full of a deep, patient love. My Wendy's waist is so slender. I wish I could hold on to her longer, but no, I'll scare her away. Maybe because Jack is the reason I returned, I can hear his thoughts and they're kinda cute. He politely steadied me, and once sure I could stand, he pulled his hand away. He then balled his fist and punched Jason in the face. Jason was caught off guard and fell to the ground. He rose, clutching his left cheek, eyes blazing. Sorry, I apologized, you can't hit back. Trash, finally got a chance to punch him. I didn't hit hard enough just now, nor at the right angle. I really want to do it again. Realizing Jack was standing up for me, I couldn't help but laugh. Jason's smart. He caught on quickly, and his face turned from blue to white, looking even better. The birthday party continued, and I stepped outside for some air. Jason was busy getting bandaged now, and after that, he'd need to console Chloe. He couldn't spare a thought for me. I was standing downstairs, feeling like everything that just happened was a dream I had right before dying, just from unwillingness. It didn't seem real at all. Suddenly, I caught a whiff of smoke and looked up for the source. To my surprise, I saw Jack. Jack's always been a bit of a rebel. No wonder. The glowing red cigarette made me think of fire, and I felt a bit off balance. What to do if Wendy catches him smoking? In a panic, Jack actually grabbed the cigarette to put it out with his hand. I grabbed his hand and pried it open, and sure enough, there was a burn mark. What are you doing? You're burned. Wendy held my hand. Jack kept his usual defiant look, but there was so much going on inside him. Let's go, get that wrapped up. I tried to drag Jack along, but he didn't budge. Jack suddenly looked at me seriously. 2 wishes. You haven't made 2 wishes yet. Oh. You gonna help me make them come true? Jack nodded earnestly, though he still seemed all carefree, like a loyal knight. I stood on my tiptoes and gave him a quick kiss. That's wish number 2. Jack's eyes widened, he licked his lips and his Adam's apple bobbed. So, what's the 3rd wish? Jason walked out of the ballroom carrying a coat. In the left pocket was the ring he was planning to propose to me with today. Seeing me, he confidently walked over. But his face, bruised and all, made him look like a clown. In front of Jason, I dove into Jack's arms. Be my boyfriend, Jack. Are you serious? Seeing his delight was so cute I couldn't resist stealing another kiss on tiptoe. If I become your boyfriend, no takebacks. I nodded, and he suddenly grabbed the back of my head and kissed me against the wall. Jack immediately posted our photo online. Soon, his buddy called, way to go, persistence paid off, you finally won the long-standing game. Shut up. Jack hung up, clearly in a good mood. Jason stood frozen, his gaze deepening, his hand clenching the coat until his knuckles went white, tension radiating from him. I ignored him and led Jack upstairs to put some ointment on his burn. As we passed the door, someone grabbed my wrist. Ow, that hurts. The next second, Jack knocked Jason's hand away and pulled me into his arms, ready to fight if Jason tried again. Jason looked at me, his eyes full of hurt. Wendy, you're with him? Jack stiffened, his arm around my shoulder trembling slightly. Maybe he was scared. Afraid my saying I was with him was just a whim, just to make Jason jealous. I smiled, wrapping my hand around Jack's waist. I didn't expect his waist to feel so firm when it looked so narrow. Jack's eyes visibly widened. Oh my God, my wife's holding my waist. I chose Jack. Wish us well, Jason. Jason was a few months older than me, and I'd always been trailing behind him since we were kids. People who saw us together had that doting expression, just thinking we were like a cute little couple act. But then Chloe showed up. She asked Jason if he was dating me. Jason just said we were like siblings. Maybe at that moment, it was clear who he loved or didn't love. I just didn't get it. Why was he okay with accepting my affection if he didn't love me enough to be with me? Suddenly, Jack stood at the door, about to say something when there was a bang from inside, followed by Chloe's scream. Turned out, she had knocked over the champagne tower by accident. Jason rushed over, holding her, checking if she was hurt. Chloe looked pale but still managed to give a smug look my way. The triumphant look was brief, but I caught it. I scoffed. Her little tricks always attracted the attention of the guys around me. My dad and Jason both fell for it. C wasn't careful at all. Dad scolded with his words but showed genuine care by wrapping his coat around her shoulders. Chloe looked up from Jason's arms and said to me, "I'm sorry, I was just too careless," tears welling up. I unconsciously tightened my grip on Jack. I always feared she'd take the ones who cared about me. Jack patted my shoulder, smirking, his words not kind. "That was clumsy. Even my dog knows not to knock over a champagne tower at a party. Heard you're 16? Maybe get your brain checked?" Then he turned away, unable to hide his disdain. Jack's family was influential, so nobody dared say much despite the possibility he had a point. "Wendy, get me out of here, I'm getting fed up with idiots and about to punch someone." I couldn't help but smile. Being chosen, being publicly defended felt like this. "Hold out your hand." Jack obediently sat by my chair, a bit off the back, like practicing horse stance. "So nervous, this is Wendy's room. I need to be proper, can't look around." He quickly put his hand in mine when I asked, "Why does this feel so familiar, like training a dog?" Jack had a red burn mark on his palm, as expected. "Does it hurt?" I gently applied the balm. Jack's face flushed red, his eyes darting to the ceiling. "Thick-skinned, it doesn't hurt, but Wendy's applying it anyway. Her hands are so soft and tender, maybe I'll act a bit." "It hurts. Wendy's V-neck dress looks really nice, but maybe she shouldn't bend over to apply ointment next time she wears something like this. I'll handle anything that requires bending." Hearing Jack's thoughts, I shyly stepped back, my face flushed but feeling warm inside. Reminded of when Jason and I went to the beach before, I wore a backless dress wanting to snap some lovely pics. A few male tourists glanced my way. Jason put his coat on me. "Wearing so little, who are you trying to impress?" His tone was a bit reproachful, but it felt like he cared. That day, friends and classmates around us started teasing, saying Jason was jealous. I obediently wore his coat and joined everyone for a group photo. Later, when I looked at that photo again, I noticed my smile wasn't genuine. For a long time, I was hesitant to wear anything too revealing. A few heartfelt words from Jack finally eased my worries. Hiding a flower so it's not coveted by others versus protecting a flower so it can bloom. The flower knows the answer. I looked down seriously at the young man with a roguish charm in front of me. His face was red all the way to his ears, like they could bleed if pinched, and he didn't dare look me in the eye. I got the urge to tease him. After applying some ointment, I lightly tickled his palm. Jack was startled, his Adam's apple bobbing as he stared at me. Even though the window was open, it kept getting hotter inside. "Wendy, what are you up to?" A knock accompanied my mom's voice outside the door. Jack was so scared he fell to the floor, and I hurriedly shoved him under the table. Now it seemed like we were doing something wrong, sneaking around like thieves. "Wendy, come take a family photo." "Coming." I left in a rush, leaving Jack there all embarrassed and frustrated. "Help, I hope I didn't leave a bad impression on my aunt." "It's not what it looks like." Jack was questioning his life choices. My mom comforted me, holding my hand. "So many things happened at your birthday party today, Wendy, but don't worry about it, I'll take you out another day." Looking at her slender figure, my nose tingled. No worries, any birthday with my mom is the best. Finally, my mom found my dad in the crowd. "Let's take a family photo." My dad looked around and, seeing Chloe wasn't there, quickly walked over. Chloe is my dad's illegitimate daughter he had with another woman. After her mom died in a car accident, my dad brought her home for my mom to raise. Being a stepmother was tough. My mom and I suffered a lot under her hands over the years. On my birthday, it was a tradition for the three of us to take a family picture. This year, as we were getting ready, Chloe suddenly showed up. "Dad, my hand hurts so much." She raised her bleeding left hand, tears more abundant than the blood. "I told you not to deal with the glass pieces, why bother?" My dad blamed her verbally, but he made a move as if to rush over to her. I held his sleeve. "Dad, it's my birthday today, can we finish the family photo first?" Emotion flashed across his face, but Chloe smiled, a smile uglier than crying. "It's okay, Dad, you take the picture first." Then in a quieter voice, "I wish I had a mom too," and ran out without looking back. My dad was genuinely worried and immediately chased after Chloe. In another life, my birthday party was ruined by Chloe, making me so upset that I fought with my mom. My mom had something she wanted to tell me, but I was too absorbed in my own world to come out. Now watching my mom's unhappy expression, I realized I wasn't the only one who was upset. Because she was a mom, she bore so much more. My mom patted my shoulder and said, "It's okay, Wendy, we'll wait for your dad to come back for the photo." When the lights came on, I noticed the white hairs on my mom's head. She used to smile a lot. Did she always have so many wrinkles? She must have gone through so much over the years. I hugged her tight. "Mom, it's fine, let's just have a photo of the two of us. How much time does that take?" My dad and Chloe were taking forever and clearly didn't care about us. "But it's okay, we don't need him." I called over my mom's first love, Uncle Henry, "Come take a photo with us." My mom and Henry were childhood sweethearts. When they were young, they were both proud, and my dad took advantage of that. My mom married my dad, and Uncle Henry never married, treating me like his own daughter. Maybe out of regret. My mom has always been pleased with my first love, Jason. I've slowly grown fond of him too. Uncle Henry has always looked after my mom, but with boundaries. Seeing her unhappy didn't sit well with him. Hearing my call, Uncle Henry walked over smiling. My mom was a bit embarrassed, and I stood in the middle, secretly pushing them closer together. That night, after we washed up and got ready for bed, Dad finally remembered the family photo. "Wendy, tell your mom to come down, we've got to take the family picture." I dried my hair. "No need anymore. After now, we don't need it." Back in my room, my mom was already by my bed waiting. "Wendy, there's something I need to discuss with you." Just as I expected, in another life, this was the moment my mom thought about divorce. I hadn't considered her feelings, which made her endure for so long. "Wendy, what do you think?" My mom's voice was almost humble, and it made my eyes sting. I ran into her arms. "Mom, thank you for all these years." She also cried. I rarely saw my mom cry. Turns out, even when girls become moms, they can still feel wronged. "I think divorce is great. We need to take back what's ours." Over the years, my dad built his company with my mom's family's money and connections. The company originally had 80% of its shares belonging to my mom. In another life, both my mom and I left early, allowing his mistress's daughter Chloe to inherit everything. Just thinking about it made me angry. My mom wiped her tears and smiled, patting my head determined. "Yes, we'll take it all back." She tossed me a pile of photos. They were pictures of my dad with another woman. Wait a minute, that woman looked familiar. Isn't that Chloe's adoptive mother, Mary? And wasn't she best friends with Chloe's biological mom? So eager to climb up. Wonder what Chloe will think about this. Old habits die hard. Ever since Chloe was exposed, my dad would repent, kneel, and beg. It wasn't that long before he went for more. The gentle, fragile image I had of my mom was shattered. She'd silently been doing big things. I discreetly gave her a thumbs up. Just as my mom was about to leave the room, as if she remembered something, she stopped and asked, "That guy you hid under your desk earlier tonight, is his name Jack?" She saw everything. My face flushed red. just a classmate. My mom nodded and said, I think he's great, better than that kid Jason. Then she walked out without looking back, even remembered to close the door for May was left alone, blushing like crazy. Talking about Jack, that's when I noticed the little note he left on the table. Hi, ma'am, I'm Jack. I burned my hand, and your kind daughter helped me with some burn ointment. I swear I didn't do anything, I promise. Next to it was a little doodle of a guy with a hand gesture, like he's making a vow. Oh, Lord, is Jack always this adorable? My phone screen flashed with Jack's friend request, accept, please. What's up? Oh, nothing. Just felt like since I'm the boyfriend, I should have my girlfriend's contact info. I tapped into Jack's profile pic and looked through it. Everything was visible, though he hadn't posted much. The most stunning thing was today's couple announcement photo. In the picture, we were kissing. Not sure if I should praise his photo-taking skills or the lighting. It was all so beautiful, almost like he could read my mind. Jack sent a message fishing for compliments. The announcement photo turned out pretty good, right? It looked so great, you must have put a lot of effort into it. What am I saying? On the other side, he paused for a moment. What's up, not focused enough for you? Next time, I'll put all my attention into something else, I promise. Suddenly, I felt like a love-struck teen. Just chit-chatting with Jack. Even the waiting felt filled with pink bubbles. Neither of us wanted to be the last one to speak. Ended up saying goodnight several times. Slept late but felt so sweet inside. The next morning, as soon as I left the house, I saw Jason's car parked out front. Normally, he'd sit in the car waiting for me. Today, he was wearing the clothes I'd given him. Jason's quite handsome, the clean-cut boy next door type. He could easily catch girls' attention just standing there. Seeing me come out, he approached me. Wendy, let me take that. He reached for my breakfast. I always prepared breakfast for Jason before. I thought liking someone meant being nice to them unconditionally, and he always accepted it so casually. I lifted my hand slightly. Thanks, Jason, but no, this isn't for you. Jason looked a bit stunned, and his eyes hinted at a sense of loss. Wendy, Jason. It's my turn to sit in the back today, Chloe said as she hopped into the back seat. The three of us always argued about who sat where. I wanted to sit in the back with Jason, Chloe did too. Somehow it ended up being a one-day turn system between Chloe and me. Pfft, seriously? Jason blocked my way. Wendy, are you mad at me? Nah, not really. Just not worth it. Jason isn't worth any of my emotions at all. By the way, you guys can go to school together from now on. I won't be joining you. Before Jason could respond, the sound of a motorcycle roared. Jack stopped stylishly in front of me. He raised his eyebrows, didn't even glance at Jason. Hop on. I walked past Jason, smiling, and held onto Jack's hand. Jack wore a helmet, showing only his two rebellious eyes. He seemed hard to approach, but I knew he was in a good mood. Probably humming a little tune in his head. As we passed by Jason's car, Chloe poked her head out. Innocently asking, Wendy, who's this guy? Clearly, Chloe didn't recognize Jack. Your motorcycle is so cool. Can you take me to school tomorrow? I'm at S High, pretty close to your university. Jack's mental tune paused, his brows furrowing. Did you take your brain to get checked yesterday? If not, maybe take your whole head for a look. We're dating, no need for any bright-minded third wheels. He never looked at Chloe, just gently helped me with my helmet. Chloe's cute facade crumbled, her face drooping like a wilted eggplant. No youthful shine at all. Jason kept his head down, and when he looked up, his eyes were red. Maybe he remembered how he treated me every time Chloe fought for attention. Seems like Chloe didn't love him all that much either. She just liked snagging the guys around. Meher mom lived by snagging men, and Chloe picked up on it early. Riding a motorcycle for the first time, I was a bit nervous. But knowing Jack was in charge eased my fears. I gently wrapped my arms around his slim waist, rested my head on his shoulder. Jack didn't have as much going on mentally. I could only hear his heartbeat. Fast and intense, like the sunlight of a summer afternoon. At the parking lot, Jack's buddies were already waiting. Seeing me get off, they all stood up and greeted me with smiles. Jack's never let anyone ride his precious motorcycle before. Wendy's even prettier than in photos. How old are you? Which department? These supposed bad boys turned out surprisingly friendly. Left me a bit dizzy with all their questions. Jack parked the bike and shielded me behind him. Alright, you'll have time to get to know her. Finally, some peace and quiet. Your breakfast, I said. For me? Jack looked genuinely surprised. I tiptoed near his ear and murmured, don't like it? Jack swallowed hard, eyes fixed on my lips. I spun around and ran off. We're gonna be late, I'm heading to class. On the way to the classroom, a lot of classmates acted weird seeing me. Some even pointed fingers. Wendy, there you are. Big news. My roommate dragged me to the corner, urgently saying, have you seen the forums? Check it out. A video edit of me had shot up to the top of the trending list. University belle, loose and lustful. In the video, I was in a red deep V gown, my skin glowing with a hint of flush. Looked a bit like a temptress, honestly. It's all about this editing. They cut out all my conversations with Jason and Jack. All that's left is the physical contact and my one line, be my boyfriend. It makes it look like I said that to both of them. I had to laugh at myself. You can still laugh? You see all these people criticizing you below. Of course, I can laugh if I didn't do any of it. I'm laughing at my stepsister Chloe for being so stupid. There's no way this footage wasn't caught by house surveillance. Or does she think no one would blame her for this? I kept scrolling down and taking screenshots for evidence. My roommates were baffled, and I nudged them, don't just stand there, help me save evidence of online harassment. There was a comment gaining traction. Scandalous. Male college student claims romance with the vixen Wendy. How was it? Tell us, man. You don't know how someone can seem innocent on the outside. At the back of the class, some foul comments kept coming my way. Freshman year just started, and Sam hit on me. After I turned him down, he held a grudge and took every chance to bring me down. I tracked the IP address and confirmed that the post was from him. Surrounded by his pals, everything he said got a chorus of laughter. The laughter got louder, and they shot filthy looks at me. My roommate stood in front of me and snapped back. What are you doing? Making stuff up is illegal. Dare to do it but not let people talk about it? How do you know we're lying? You lying about us lying is still lying. And then another round of malicious laughter. My roommate was so upset she almost cried. I patted her back to calm her. Playing it meek, looking small, weak, and lost, I walked up to the guy. I grabbed the arm of the troublemaker and said, hey, did Sam say all that stuff's true? Oh my gosh, I have no memory of it. I must have been drugged, and I didn't even know it. I'll call the police right now, and you all are witnesses, you have to stand up for me. Sam loves his image, so his previous boasting left him cornered. While he was off balance, I sent the evidence to the police. After reporting it, I started crying and dashed out, shouting, I can't live like this. I can't go on. Things got heated, and the unresponsive class president, who was just bystanding, got worried and started contacting teachers. I wasn't just running aimlessly. I went to Chloe's school, Shirta High School. Once rumors start, no matter what, I can't shake off the label. Instead of falling into a self-defense trap, I'd rather expose the trap creator. Hello, teacher, I'm Wendy. My stepsister Chloe secretly took a family phone to school, and I'm here to get it back. Shirta High was known for being strict. The teacher had loads of experience, closed the textbook, and said confidently, hey, Siri. Chloe and her squad's phones got exposed instantly. So that's how she managed such a big scene alone. It was a team effort. Chloe had to play the well-behaved student at school. When the teacher confiscated the phones, she didn't dare to resist. I got my hands on the phone and quickly saved the evidence, deleting the original post stopped the rumors before they could spread beyond repair. No way do I want to be known nationwide. With the original post gone, search frequency spiked. "What's up with S University's campus bell Wendy?" became a hot topic. Under that tag, I uploaded the full video. As more people discovered the truth, the narrative started turning. Many people noticed the malicious edits and dug into the rumormongers. Chloe's history with wealthy patrons got dug up. Sam's unsuccessful love confession and his trolling with fake accounts about me came to light. Using an uninformed audience to achieve their nasty goals. They finally got a taste of their own medicine. Although I handled it quickly, rumors still flooded all over S University. Pretty girls, even a small flaw gets blown out of proportion. On the way back, I overheard a group of girls whisper. Look, it's her. Playing the innocent act, turning down Jack at school, but secretly keeping him as backup at home. She sure knows how to pull off contradictions. Yeah, she doesn't deserve our Jack. Turns out they were Jack's fangirls. I checked my phone, tons of messages and calls. About 90% were from Jack. Shoot, I forgot to tell him I'm okay. As I was about to call, my roommate suddenly grabbed me. Hurry. Jack's fighting Sam. When I got there, Sam was already on the ground begging for mercy. Stop, I won't do it again. I was just messing around. Jack, still furious, said nothing and licked his lips. Casually, he walked over to Sam and kicked him again. Sam grunted in pain, couldn't utter a word. I rushed over and hugged Jack. Stop, it's dirty. Jack's body stiffened, taking a while to turn around. His gaze softened instantly, still angry, but not returning my hug. Why didn't you answer my calls or messages? Do you know how worried I was? Sorry, I thought it was too minor to bother you. Jack laughed in exasperation. Minor? Do you know how scared I was, terrified something really happened to you? I'm sorry, I tugged his sleeve. I promise. I promise nothing like today will happen again. What to do? Wendy's playing cute, huh? I can't give in, she needs to remember to consult me next time. Hearing Jack's thoughts, I went further. Shamelessly wiggling his hand. I know I was wrong. But trust my skills, didn't I handle it okay? Jack pulled me tight, letting out a long sigh. Whispered, no more of this next time. The teacher's here. Sam perked up at this. The teacher will do justice for me, just you wait. Jack just raised his arm, and Sam shrank back into the corner, scared. The teacher indeed came to set things right. After looking into it, Sam was expelled on the spot for spreading obscene rumors and defaming others. Teacher. Jack hit me. Aren't you going to do something about him? S University is a renowned college. It wasn't easy for Sam to get in. Now that he's expelled, his only thought is to drag someone else down with him. The teacher adjusted his glasses and pointed at Sam, asking, who's he? The people around answered, some troublemaker making up rumors outside the school. Not from our school, so not my problem. You guys should know your limits when doing the right thing. Got it. Thanks, teacher. What a fulfilling day. In the evening, after school, Jason came to see me. He handed me a cup of jasmine green tea, Chloe's favorite. I took the tea and set it aside, looking up at him. What's up? Jason adjusted the strap of his shoulder bag. Don't worry about what happened today, I believe you. After doing the last problem in my workbook, I packed up my bag. Thanks, I'm fine. Hey, were what they said true? Weren't you just saying you believed me? And now you're asking? What? They said the person you like is me, and Jack was just too persistent, so you ended up with him. I laughed and nodded. Yeah, it's true. So what? Jason's eyes lit up suddenly, and he held my hand firmly. Wendy, I want to win you back. I pulled my hand away and picked up the tea on the table, handing it back to him. Jason, you know what? Jasmine is the tea flavor I hate the most. You should give it to Chloe, she likes it. Jason froze, a look of surprise in his eyes. Right then, a few of Jack's buddies came rushing in, separating me and Jason. Wendy, Jack's waiting for you at the playground. On summer evenings, the sky starts to darken, and the breeze feels nice. Someone tapped my shoulder lightly, and when I turned around there was a rose. People kept handing me roses along the way, and by the time I got to the playground, I was holding a huge bouquet, almost dropping it. Happy birthday to you. Jack pushed a 3-tier cake from a blind spot in my view to stand beside me. The cake was topped with candles shaped like lights, twinkling brightly like being 18. As the birthday song ended, everyone there smiled and wished me, happy birthday. I was so moved I didn't know what to say. You guys, what are you doing? Didn't I celebrate my birthday yesterday? Jack's eyes were filled with me. That's different, yesterday was someone else celebrating for you, today it's me. Regrets about my past and present 18th birthday party were finally covered with beautiful memories by this man who was all about me. Stop being so clingy, share some cake with us. Sure. Jack said, grabbing a piece and tossing it over. A cake battle was triggered. While Jack protected me, I sneakily smeared the cake I had hidden on his face. Just when I was laughing heartily, someone silenced me with a kiss. The sky grew darker, making it harder to make out Jack's features, but his silhouette was visible and pretty. Feeling overwhelmed with emotion, Jack released me, got down on one knee, and took out a translucent jade bracelet. His voice was trembling but strong. Wendy, will you be my girlfriend? I was stunned. This is a bracelet my mom left for her daughter-in-law. I'm proposing with the intention of spending my life with you. Say yes. Say yes. Amid the cheers, I nodded with tears in my eyes. When Jack put the bracelet on me, colorful fireworks lit up the sky. Jack, knowing I'm anxious around fire, used a drone to set off the fireworks instead. Leaning against Jack, I watched the beautiful light show. Didn't I already say yes yesterday? Jack hugged me tighter. Your agreement is my call to action. A relationship should start with a serious confession. I want to silence the rumors. My Wendy is amazing and she deserves the best. Turns out he heard the rumors about me. Others might not think much of it, but he cares. Jack. I'm here. I like you. The light show drew a lot of people. Chloe and Jason came too, but they didn't look too happy. I advise you to return my phone to me. Even if you tell Dad, he won't do anything to me. Chloe, always secure in being favored, had been spoiled by my father to this point. I waved my phone. Go ahead, try it. In the following weeks, Chloe was on edge. Because I didn't tattletale right away, she was constantly on guard and tried to be nicer to me. I wasn't going to expose her immediately, I'd wait for a better chance. Photos and videos of me and Jack went viral online. No matter the angle or composition, they were beautiful. Jack remained unbothered publicly but thought to himself, Wendy and Jason are a better match? Yeah, right. I'm the one for her. The rumors were soundly defeated by our new groundbreaking moment. As the buzz died down, Jack and I started spending more time in the library, gearing up for finals. One ordinary weekend, my mom took me and Chloe back home, and we caught my dad and Chloe's foster mom in bed. When Chloe opened the door, her expression went pale. Why did we have to come home? Didn't you say they were at Disney? Caught off guard, Chloe went dumbfounded, Dad panicked, and his mistress tried to bolt with a bedsheet. Chloe grabbed her hair, shouting, How could you do this to me? Seeing his mistress get hit, Dad stepped in to break up the fight. Chloe, don't blame Mary. Chaos ensued in the bedroom, all within me and my mom's calculated setup. Amid Chloe's heated argument with my dad, I revealed Chloe's false rumors about me, adding fuel to the fire, showing my dad a different daughter, and Chloe a real father. My mom only then learned about the rumors against me and was heartbroken. She hugged me tightly and gave an ultimatum to my scumbag dad, Ken, I'm definitely divorcing you. This agreement you signed the first time I caught you cheating, cheat again and you leave with nothing. So, get out with your heartless daughter. 7 Uncle Henry found us the best lawyer, and my mom's divorce went smoothly. The house went up for auction, and everything inside was disgusting to us. Chloe rushed in like a maniac, accusing me. "It's you, isn't it? You're the one behind all this, right?" She tried to slap me, but my mom blocked and slapped her back. A loud, resounding slap. "Yes, it was me. If you've got a problem, come at me. But leave my daughter out of it. Even if your mom were alive, she'd owe me for taking you in and raising you. You ungrateful brat, if I see you again, I'll slap you. You'll get what your mom never did. Go, Mom. You can't be kind to nasty people. The more you let things slide, the more they take advantage of you." The school anniversary came, and they invited outstanding alumni to perform. Jason, who plays piano at a level 10, and me with my level 8 ballet skills. The school leaders wanted Jason to play piano while I danced ballet. After getting the news, Jason came to rehearse with me. "Wendy, let's practice once." Jack was so annoyed on the side. "It's just the piano. I play a pretty decent guitar too." I patted Jack. "No need to worry. We won't perform anyway." Chloe would plant needles in my dance shoes. And right before the performance, Chloe pretended to faint to draw Jason away. I was left without accompaniment and hurt my foot trying to perform solo. That year, our performance was the biggest mishap. "I know you're a great dancer, I'd like to talk if you're okay with it." Jack pretended to be cool and said he had things to do. "Call me when you're done. I'll pick you up." Help, what's Jason up to? Maybe Wendy won't want me anymore? I stood on tiptoe and kissed Jack's forehead. "I'll wait for you to pick me up." The rehearsal room was dreamy with light filtering in. Jason played the piano while I danced, just like when we were kids. Every note and move connected perfectly. After rehearsals, I called Jack to pick me up. "Wendy." Jason called. He brought out a bracelet with tiny shells on it. It was my favorite childhood bracelet. "Is this yours?" When Jason was little and sick, he went to the countryside to recuperate. He fell into water once, and I saved him. Right after pulling him out, I went to find an adult. I took the bracelet, noticing the small, cute chain. "It's mine." "Why do you have it?" Jason looked pained. Chloe said it was hers. "So?" Jason stopped me and took out a ring. A ring he used when he confessed last time. "Wendy, I liked you. I was going to confess on your birthday. Sorry I was so cold." "Jason, I don't get you. Are you heartless? Everyone knows I like you, and you still ask me. Are you speechless? You doubt Chloe's lies and never come to verify with me. Or do you think not choosing is a way to enjoy admiration guilt-free? Maybe I hit a nerve." Jason stood there, speechless. "Done practicing so soon? Let's go get something to eat." Jack grinned, taking my bag. "Sure, I want barbecue." Before leaving, "Wendy, can we still be friends?" Jack paused. I didn't look back. "Jason, I have plenty of friends now." On the day of the school celebration, I only showed up for protocol without changing dance shoes. "Wendy, it's almost our turn. Aren't you changing shoes?" I checked the time. "Jason, Chloe fainted. You better go see her." Jason looked conflicted, checking the time and looking at me before deciding. "Wendy, I'll be right back." I laughed at myself. Even in a do-over, it's the same result. Suddenly, red ballet shoes appeared in my view. Jack's magnetic voice came. "Wendy, wanna try rock ballet?" I wore the shoes Jack gave me, and with a heavy metal band backing us, took the stage on time. Jack, though a school bully, had popularity on par with Jason. A cool contrast with his rugged handsomeness, playing guitar earnestly. As soon as the first guitar note hit, the crowd went wild. Rock and ballet, wild and refined, were surprisingly harmonious and expressive. On stage, Jack and I shared a look, heartbeats deafening in our ears. At the end, cheers and applause crashed like a tsunami as Jack and I held hands for the curtain call. My ballet shoes, unworn, were found and worn by the principal's daughter, and she got hurt. The leaders immediately checked the footage and criticized Chloe's actions publicly. If my dad hadn't paid her way out, she would have faced expulsion. At the celebration party that night, I noticed Jack's fingers were red. "What's wrong with your hand?" His buddies were all smiles. "Hey, little sister-in-law, how are the new dance shoes?" Jack lightly whacked their hand with his chopsticks. "Eat, don't talk." New shoes usually cause blisters, but mine fit perfectly today. Turned out Jack had softened them with his hands. My heart warmed as I quietly intertwined my fingers with his. "Jack, thank you." Jack's big hands wrapped around mine. "You never need to thank me. Life is sunny after distancing from a bad dad, the schemer Chloe, and indecisive Jason." "What's that saying?" "After you left, I realized my world wasn't raining after all storms and misery were brought by toxic people." Jack noticed my fear of fire, taking me to a psychologist weekly. With his encouragement, I wasn't as scared anymore. Mom and Uncle Henry were in a sweet, unspoken relationship, more lovey-dovey than Jack and me. Everything's looking up. The life-changing summer camp that shifted everyone's fate came around. I thought Chloe would miss it due to the lack of money. After all, my dad's drowning in debt. Yet somehow, she weaseled into the camp staff. I was helping lead the team with Jack. After going over the important details, I said, "If you all have any questions, feel free to ask Wendy or Jack." Someone shouted, "I'm going to Wendy." "Does Wendy have a boyfriend?" Youth really love making a fuss. Jack heard it, came up, stood by me, and put his arm around my shoulder. "Wendy's boyfriend is right here." As we were dismissing, I saw Chloe coming over to clean up. She gave me a sweet smile, a sure sign she was up to something. "Wendy, I miss you so much." "Well, I don't miss you. And stop calling me sis. I don't have one." On the last night of summer camp, there would be fireworks. Chloe planned to make trouble during it. Is there anything else I should check? I wondered, going through my checklist and stopping at fireworks. Make sure to double-check the quality and the site for setting them off. Got it. I was thinking of an excuse not to be there when the fireworks went off. Suddenly, Jack whispered in my ear, "Wendy, wanna do something wild?" Without waiting for an answer, he took my hand and we ran. We only stopped when we reached the beach. The sea breeze whipped around us, and the only steady thing was Jack's hand in mine. "Our Wendy's amazing already, it's okay to skip the fireworks if you're scared." Turns out he was concerned about me being afraid. I reached out and gave his cheek a rub. As fireworks exploded in the distance, I said, "Jack, I love you." Jack's eyes were so clear, full of summer fireworks, and Mayhay gave a charming smile, leaned down and kissed me. "Wendy, I love you." Even after multiple checks, Chloe still managed to tamper with stuff. A blast happened. Luckily, no one was in the spot I'd originally been. Chloe got hurt the worst. When the ambulance arrived, everyone was amazed. Why'd she run towards the blast? Don't even start. Heard Wendy was pulled away by Jack, and she totally flipped. Chloe was badly burned, but still better than what happened to me in a different life. She was conscious a week later but burned over 85% of her body, wrapped like a mummy. Her first request was to see me. Honestly, if my dad hadn't begged, I might not have gone. At the door, I was surprised to hear Jack's voice. "You see, I had told you to visit the hospital, but you didn't, so now you're stuck here for a while." Chloe was speechless, coughing, her voice hoarse and rough like a crow's. "You think my sis hates me? If she knew who you were, would she still hate me?" Jack stayed silent for a moment, then laughed. "What identity? What are you so proud of? Aren't you just a secret kid like me? Why act all nice in front of my sis?" The info was too much for me to process. Jack walked to the window, sounding sad. "Do you know why I'm a secret kid? It's because my brother's sick, something genetic, needs a bone marrow transplant. Ms. Chloe, I'm not like you, I'm tough." The sunlight fell on Jack, and I finally remembered why his back felt familiar. The summer I saved Jason from drowning. I had run back to play when the adults took Jason to the hospital. I saw a chubby figure in the garden, looking upset. I asked through the fence, "Are you sad?" The chubby boy looked glum. "I'm hungry, the food I eat isn't good. I brought lots of snacks from home to share." We were happy eating them. That night, I heard cries coming from his house. The family even came over the next day, warning us not to give junk food to their kid. "Why can't you eat them? Are you sick?" The chubby child shook his head. "It's not me, my brother's sick, they need my bone marrow." "Does it hurt?" He nodded without speaking. Then said, "It's okay, I was born for my brother, after all. And I got to eat lots yesterday, thanks." I thought it wasn't right. No one should be born to serve someone else, unless they want to. I pushed the hospital room door. "Jack, come home with me." Chloe tried getting up to reach me, but the bandages held her down. "Why? Why?" Through the white bandages, her eyes were angry. "Why do you get everything I want without trying? Better than what I worked so hard for? It's not fair. Not fair." Jack immediately stepped in front to protect me from Chloe's potential outburst. Seeing Jack's move, Chloe got even more frustrated. I tugged on Jack's hand, stepping forward. "Why? Let me ask you why. All these years, pretending to be innocent while scheming, taking advantage of my dad's favoritism. You have no idea how many disgusting things you've done. My parents cared more about you than me. Jason was supposed to be yours, and yet you planned to blow me up? Chloe, you've got no shame. Your mom was a mistress, died in a car accident, and now you end up like this. None of it's got to do with me, it's all your own damn fault." I placed the flowers I brought on the sunlit windowsill. Chloe's gaze was lost, stuck on the flowers. "Everyone's life is their own blank canvas, stop staring at mine." Jack was right, maybe you need a therapist the most. Let's not see each other after this. On the way back, Jack's attitude shifted from bold to careful around Chloe. "You heard all of it?" I nodded. Jack was nervous, his palms sweaty. "Wendy, you won't leave me, right?" I playfully knocked on his head. "Of course not. Why didn't you tell me sooner you were that little chubby kid?" Jack scratched his head. "I guess I have a reputation to maintain." "A reputation?" I looked at his distinct jawline, feeling a pang for him. "So, you became a rebel school bully to fight your destiny?" Jack hugged me tightly, resting his head on my neck, voice soft. "Yeah, a little girl once told me, nobody should be born to cater to someone else. I have my own life, Wendy. You saved me from the start."